Okay, as you can see, we have everyone up on stage with us now. It's time for another lowdown on Ridertown with the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders, 94.1 KRNA and the Union Station Extension. Chad Cooper here with KRNA. I'm here every week hosting the show here at the Union Station Extension. Every Wednesday night from 6 to 6:30. We have 1 week off, and that's next Wednesday, so I want to make sure everyone knows that next Wednesday, the 15th, we will not have a show, but for good reason. The Rough Riders have a game. It's a home game at the stable, so get on out and see that instead of here. Go out to the stable and catch the Rough Riders in action. After this week, we'll only have 2 more shows. We're doing it through the month of March, so just a reminder that we have the 22nd and the 29th. That's our finale. That'll be the big karaoke night. We'll have a lot of fun as we wrap it up with the players and coach here. We kind of have a celebration of what we've been doing since, I think, January 11th was the first official show. Another reminder that as we do every week, we will have another drawing at the end of the show tonight. This time it's for a 10-pack of tickets to either the Bud Light Fan Cave or the Bills Brothers Balcony, and that's for next Wednesday's game, the March 15th game against Omaha. You can sign up. The box is still there in the back just in case you haven't gotten the opportunity yet. So over the next 15 or 20 minutes, you can get back there and sign up for that. And then what will happen is we will announce the winner at the end of the show. We'll save a couple minutes toward the end to announce that. But then you'll be notified by Tuesday, March 14th of the actual seat location. So a little added surprise, pleasant surprise when you find that out. So we'll announce the winner tonight, though. As a reminder that during the broadcast, runs from 6 to 6:30, we have $10 2-topping pizzas. We also have $4.99 chicken strip baskets for the kids. So get on out. It's a great event. We've had great turnouts all year. We appreciate you guys, the fans, for coming out each and every week with us. And the event, the doors open about 5 o'clock, so feel free to come early and feel free to hang around after we wrap up the show as well. Now, I'm joined this week by head coach Mark Carlson once again, but also by players Bence Stipsicz, Grant Loven, and Jake Johnson. We'll get into questions with those guys in just a couple minutes. But, you know, Coach had a pretty good idea last week to start to brand all of these shows, throw a theme on these. So, you know, this all kind of started a couple weeks ago with the Jersey Boys edition. Then last week, Coach had the good improvisation on the mark there with the European vacation, so we ran with that a little bit, just switched gears in the middle, but that was good. And then I'm even going to include, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I'm going to call that the Minnesota Mutiny, when we kind of had all that Minnesota drama. So we'll fold into that. We've been doing this for like 3 or 4 weeks now. This week, I'm going to call it March Madness, and we'll get into why we're going to call it that in just a few minutes once we start getting into questions with the guys up here. But look forward to that. I think in the last 2 weeks, since we only have a couple weeks left, we're just gonna run with this and try to theme the rest of the shows. I think it makes a lot of fun for the guys here up on stage, makes it fun for you guys, and a lot of entertaining, and also it makes my job a lot easier too. The questions just seem to kind of come naturally when we do it like that. So first we will start with last week's results for the Riders. A couple of tough losses, but really close games. First, we have a 3-1 loss to Madison, and then a 3-2 loss against Sioux City. And Coach, I'll start there with you. Some tough losses, but also some pretty close games you guys played last weekend.
Yeah, I thought there were 2 real competitive games, Coop, and especially Saturday. I thought, the atmosphere I thought in the building was awesome from the beginning of the game there. So that was huge, and I thought it was a really well played game by both teams. I thought it could have went either way. They made a bounce or 2 for themselves there late, but very entertaining game against a real good team, and I thought it was a very, very well-played game by both teams.
Now, since we have 3 players up on stage with us tonight, we want to make sure that we get into the questions, and so I'll start with you guys. We'll get right into it about player bios and backgrounds, where you guys are from, and Jake, I'll start on your end, if you could kind of give us an idea where you come from, your hometown, and your journey to get here with Cedar Rapids.
All right. My name is Jake Johnson. I'm from Bloomington, Minnesota. This is my first year of junior hockey, and I played in Minnesota. We just have youth hockey for your hometown, and I just played for Bloomington Jefferson and played there in high school, so I'm here.
And then we'll move down the line. Bence, how about you?
My name is Bence Stipsicz. I'm from Budapest, Hungary, and I grew up playing in that city for a team, and I played there my whole life before I came out here to try out for the Rough Riders, and that was it.
And then, Grant, how about you? Where are you from, and how'd you get here with the Rough Riders?
My name's Grant Loven. I'm from East Grand Forks, Minnesota. and this is my first year with the Rough Riders. I played for East Grand Forks High School hockey last year.
So you have a couple guys up here from Minnesota, and I think the Minnesota State Hockey Tournament just got underway. So that's a little March Madness. We're going to play into that theme. And then also, Bence, I'll ask you right now, Coach told me to give me a little background information that your dad is a professor. Is that correct?
Yes, he is.
And where are some places that he's taught that he's been a professor at?
He worked at Princeton for a short time and Columbia.
So we got some nice Ivy League schools there. It plays into the March Madness theme. So it just seemed to be a nice theme. We'll have some questions about that as we get into things. And Coach, I wondered if you could take a few minutes, like you usually do each and every week, talk a little bit about each of these three guys up on stage, how'd they get here, and how'd you pinpoint these guys to be people you wanted to bring on board?
Sure. Well, Jake, we can start with Jake. We'd seen him play a little bit in Minnesota there, and then he actually started the year in Sioux Falls, and we were able to acquire him in a trade. So we were certainly happy, to do that, and we're happy that he's here. Bence, we had heard a little bit about from a couple schools, that we were working with, and we knew that he'd played over in Hungary, and Bence came over to our first camp and our tryout camp there and made the team, and happy to have Bence. And Grant, we were watching for a few years, and as he mentioned, he actually is from Minnesota. There's something out there that some people think he's from North Dakota, but he's from he is from Minnesota, and we watched him actually in the state tournament, and he played very, very well there. He had a few injuries over the last couple of years, but he's battled through that and joined us late in the season, and has done a real good job, and happy to have him with us.
And Grant, I'll ask you real quick, do you make it a point to let people know up front that you're definitely from Minnesota? You don't want to get lumped in with the Dakotas or anything. You want to be Minnesota born and bred?
Yeah, I like to be known for Minnesota.
Sure. And I'll ask you guys real quick down the line, we always have some laughs and some chuckles every now and then about the nicknames that are on this team. Do you guys have nicknames either self-proclaimed or given to you by either coach or other players? Jake, I'll start on you and we'll work down.
Not really. They just call me Johns. So.
How about you, Bence?
Yeah, not really. They just call me Bence.
And Grant?
They call me G.
Okay, that's pretty simple. That makes sense. And how about this? I forgot to ask last week, but we had all this kind of like, there seemed to be some contention between Bobby and the Showtime nickname. You guys want to get in on that? How he got that nickname? How that came to be? What's your knowledge on that, Jake?
I don't really know. I just know he's a goal scorer, so fits him pretty well.
Bence, is that your feeling too?
Yeah, I don't know who came up with that, but it was definitely a good one.
And Grant, how about what are your feelings about that nickname?
Yeah, I just kind of always called him that and heard him as that.
And Bence, I'll ask you, you're the overseas player that we have up on stage tonight. I read an article that said that you think the sport of hockey is really growing in Hungary. It's kind of started to catch on in the last 5 or 10 years. What's it been like growing up there, and how'd you kind of get into the game in the first place?
My grandfather, he played hockey back in the day, so he took me skating when I was really little. And it was an open-air rink, actually, that I started playing on. I played on an open-air rink until I was 14 or 15 when we finally got a top over it. So, yeah, it's been growing the last couple of years. There's definitely been more funding with the growing success that our country's having in the national team stage. So, yeah.
And Grant, how'd you get involved in the game of hockey? What kind of started your passion growing up?
This is my dad played in, and just been playing ever since I was 3, I guess.
And Coach, I'll ask you, I hope I have this right. I think I read this today, that Bence is the first Hungarian-born Rough Rider. Did you know that?
That I did. I did know that.
And have you been able to learn anything about Hungary with having a player on the squad? I know with, you're talking a little bit about some of the conversations you pick up on in the locker room. Anything you've been able to glean about Hungary in your time with Bence?
Not too much. We've talked a little bit about it, but we certainly talked about Princeton and the fact that that his dad was there, and I believe Bence, you were there for a few years as well. And my mom lives in Pennington, which is right next to Princeton, and she actually worked at the Princeton Medical Center, the hospital there. So so we've talked about that a little bit, and but yeah, it's nice to have some diversity.
And Bence, I was going to ask you, it's pretty apparent that obviously you have very fluent English, speak very fluently. How'd you come about that? I know you spent some time in the United States when you were a kid. Does that kind of play into how you were able to get down to the language and be able to speak fluently?
Yeah, when my dad was a visiting professor at Princeton, I was only 4 years old, so I went to preschool in Princeton, and that's where I kind of picked up my English and just maintained it since.
And Jake, what's it been like to play with the Rough Riders? What's been the biggest maybe adjustment for you coming to the USHL?
I don't know. Just the pace. It's a lot faster than high school. Long bus rides. Probably the farthest I traveled for a high school game was 45 minutes, so it's a lot different.
Now with you guys, with Grant and Jake both being native Minnesotans, do you guys cross paths before you came with the Rough Riders? Ever have any experiences against each other as teammates or any sort of interactions?
No, he's a year older than me, and so, but he lives like 4 or 5 hours away from me, so never played against him.
And Grant, I'll ask you, I know we've had at least, I think, 3 or 4 other guys from the state of Minnesota up on stage with us who are on the team. What's it been like? Have you been able to make friendships with those guys, kind of bond over being from the same state?
Yeah, they're all pretty good guys, and we've been, like you said, able to bond, and it's been good.
What's the rivalry been like? I'll ask both you and Jake as far as you feel like you guys have to represent for Minnesota. We know we've got a New Jersey contingent. We've got a couple Michigan guys. We have guys from overseas. What's it been like in the locker room, especially when state tournament action gets going?
Well, it's our week with the tourney going on. I think 2 weeks ago is Tier 1 national tournament, and all they were talking about was New Jersey Avalanche. So they would yell around like Avs fam, and so we just kind of made fun of that, but now it's our week to kind of shine. So.
Do you guys have something that you're going to be yelling out now that you can annoy people with? Anything?
Probably not.
Grant, what's that been like for you? You guys, you take a little extra pride when you get in with the other Minnesota guys?
Yeah, a little bit. I guess, like Ben Foley and Sam Foose, they were AA and I was single A, so I guess we never really faced off against each other, but good to represent, I guess.
And Grant, I'll just stick with you right here. What's it been like in your experience? You finally get up here to play in the USHL, play with the Rough Riders. What's it been like to be a part of this organization and play in the USHL?
It's been really good. It's a great atmosphere and a great place, and I guess the biggest adjustment would be, like John said, was the pace, and you just got to be quick.
Now, last weekend, the Rough Riders had 2 home games, so they got a home weekend out of it. This weekend, the flip of that, the reverse, 2 road games at Fargo on Friday and then at Sioux Falls on Saturday. And, Coach, when you have something like that, when you have back-to-back games on the road and in pretty close proximity, do you make a weekend of it? How do you plan around that when you know you're going to be playing back-to-back like that?
Well, it's a good trip for us. We'll head up to Fargo tomorrow, practice in the morning, get up there tomorrow. So, and play in that building, and they've got a tremendous building there, Shields Arena. So it's a great opportunity, for our guys. And then the next night in Sioux Falls is kind of the same thing. Real nice arena there and a great environment. So we're looking at it as a real good positive and an opportunity to go into 2 buildings that are pretty special.
Now, you guys as players, and Jake, I'll start on your end. When you have 2 road games like that and you're spending the weekend on the road, how do you spend your downtime in between games?
Downtime, either just hanging out with the guys, watching TV, or maybe if it's later, just watch some Netflix on my computer, and then maybe nap.
Favorite show on Netflix? Something you want to let everyone know about?
My favorite was Breaking Bad, but I finished that, and now I'm on to The Office.
Bence, how about you? How do you spend your time when you're on the road and you have some downtime?
Well, it's always nice to spend some time with the boys. We mess around a little bit. It's always interesting. The rooms are always mixed up, so you never know who you're going to be rooming with. That's always good. And, we watch TV, watch some Netflix.
Grant, how about you? How you spend your downtime?
Kind of like what they said, hanging out with the boys, relaxing, and listening to music, I guess.
And guys, we'll also ask you, and Jake, I'll start on your end this time too, about your life outside of the game of hockey, hobbies, things that you like to do, not just when you're on the road traveling, but maybe when you're back here in town too. Other hobbies, things you like to do when you're not in the rink.
Well, here just hang out with people, get sushi really. Like watching hockey, that's always fun. I hang out with my billets, play with their kids, and it's a good time.
Bence, how about you? How do you spend your time outside the ice?
Yeah, we hang out together a lot, go out to eat. Sometimes we have a Sunday thing going. Me and Grant sometimes go to Panera on Sundays. And other than that, yeah, we just play with our billets, and I like to read some stuff too, so that's always fun.
Any reading suggestions that you want to throw out right now?
Not really.
Grant, how about you? Obviously, we know Bence already kind of told us you guys hang out a little bit. What do you do off the ice as well?
Yeah, kind of like what they said, hang out with the boys, and I'll hang out with my billet brothers, and then the parents too. And I guess that's pretty much how it goes.
Now, with the Minnesota State tourney underway, do you follow a lot of that action still, Grant?
Yeah, I'm following it right now because East Grand Forks is in it this year, so I'll be watching them.
Jake, how about you? You keep up to date on it?
I keep up to date, but the Jags did not make it this year, so a little disappointed.
Coach, and how often do you follow? Are you in the gear of things when these state tournaments take place, especially when you get some of the nearby states like Minnesota, Michigan, those states?
Yeah, we're in tune to it. Ben and Cody are both up at the Minnesota tournament right now, and Ben and I saw a little bit of the Wisconsin State tournament there as well. So we're on top of it, and we saw a bunch of the games that led up to the finals that are going on right now. So it's something that we follow pretty much on a daily basis.
Now, Bence, I know you spent some time obviously in America when you were a kid, but coming from overseas, what have your impressions been with Cedar Rapids, and how have you kind of adjusted to life here?
It's a nice place. It's definitely very different from what I'm used to. Just the amount of travel, for example. It's just, I guess it's an American thing. You get to drive a lot compared to Europe. But everyone was very welcoming and helpful, so I've had a great time.
And what's it been like growing up with a dad as a professor? Did you feel like you couldn't slip a beat in school? Had to have the homework on point every time? What was that like?
Well, a little bit. My dad wasn't very forceful about it, but he did expect us to do our best in school. If I had problems in math class, that was obviously an easy solution, so that was always good.
Sure. We'll get into our little speed session now that we try to do every week now, and we'll kind of have a theme, but we'll mix it up too. And I'll start, Jake, on your end. Favorite thing about Minnesota, about the state of Minnesota that you gravitate to?
Just everybody loving hockey and everybody focusing and rallying around their community when it came to hockey season.
And Grant, I'll ask you your favorite thing about Minnesota, or maybe even your favorite thing about your hometown, something you look forward to when you go back.
Yeah, kind of like John said, would be the hockey, and then going to the lake too.
What do you do when you go to the lake?
I just go jet ski, hang out on the boat, a lot of stuff.
Now, Bence, obviously, I'm assuming that the knowledge about Hungary and activities and things to do is pretty limited in our audience here. What's your favorite thing about Hungary? What do you like to do? What's the favorite thing maybe about even your hometown, about Budapest?
Well, it's definitely a big city, which is always nice. There's always stuff to do. I hang out with my friends back home. We go all over. There's a big lake pretty close to Budapest, so in the summertime we go down there a little bit, have fun.
And Jake, I'll go back down to your end for this next question. Favorite hockey team and player?
Minnesota Wild, Jared Spurgeon.
And Grant, we'll keep on the Minnesota thing. We'll go to you. How about you?
Yeah, it'd be Minnesota Wild and Zach Parise.
Now, do you guys bond over your shared love for the Minnesota Wild? Jake, I see you're repping tonight with the sweatshirt. You guys watch games together, stay up on that?
No, we might talk about it, but we haven't really watched the game together yet.
And Bence, how about you? Favorite hockey team player?
Pittsburgh Penguins and Chris Letang.
And then we'll stay with you on this one, Bence. If you had to play another sport outside of hockey, had to choose, just forced you on the spot, what would it be?
Water polo. It's really big in Hungary, really popular.
Okay, that's unique. We definitely have not had a player said that before. How about Jake? How about you?
Soccer. I played up until my freshman year, then had to quit for hockey. So.
And then Grant, I'll ask you, if you had to play another sport outside hockey, what would it be?
Yeah, it'd be soccer too, like John. So that's what I played in high school.
And Coach, I'll even ask you, when you were a kid, if you had to gravitate towards something, or if you had a second favorite sport, passionate about, what would it be?
Well, you didn't have it where I was growing up, but I would have liked to have played lacrosse if I had the chance.
Now, we know with the Rough Riders, big into the theme nights. I try to ask every player who comes up on here on stage their favorite theme night, or if they had a choice, they could pick anything, what would they do? And Jake, I'll ask you, what do you think?
I don't know my favorite theme, but maybe like a Lord of the Rings theme night.
All right, yeah. They already have a Harry Potter thing. They can play off that.
Yeah.
Bence, how about you? Something that you'd really like to see or that you've already liked that's been done?
Well, I don't know what I would like to see, but I did like the Star Wars night. I think that was good.
Grant, how about you? Theme night that you really like or something you think about?
I like the military night because I got to wear the jerseys and it was pretty fun.
Now with the jerseys, I know for about every theme night you get a jersey usually themed around it, and Grant already told us, but have you guys have a favorite jersey that you've gotten to sport over the course of the season, Jake?
I'd say the military ones are the best.
Bence, how about you?
Yeah, I like those.
How about favorite nickname on the team overall? We kind of broached the nickname topic before, but we'll go back to it. How about you, Jake?
Probably Showtime with Bobby.
Bence?
Yeah, I would say Showtime.
And Grant?
Yeah, it'd have to be Showtime.
Well, that's unanimous across the board. Coach, you agree with these guys? You got something else coming from left field here?
No, that's up to them. No, that's fine. We'll see if we can come up with something new here the rest of the way, though.
We'll mix it up. We might have a nickname theme night if we can come up to it. Guys, how about favorite thing about Cedar Rapids or favorite thing that you do in your downtime? I know we talked about hobbies, but something that you really like to do. Jake, we'll start on your end.
I'd say my billets are amazing. They've been really welcoming. So.
Bence, how about you?
Yeah, I like spending time with my billets as well. Playing outside, weather's usually nice, which is nice.
And Grant, favorite thing to do in Cedar Rapids?
I guess we went bowling last Sunday and that was pretty fun.
Who's the best bowler on the team?
Probably Jason Poland.
Okay. How about the ping pong? You guys get involved in that? I know that's kind of a running rivalry. Jake?
I try, but they usually kick me off the table because, I don't know, I'm not that good, so.
So this is it's real competitive.
Yeah, you gotta be good to play.
Bence, how about you?
Yeah, it's real competitive. I enjoy playing. I usually play a lot.
Grant, do you hold your own, or do you get kicked out, or what's the situation like that?
I guess I don't really play it a whole lot, so I kind of just stay away.
Steer clear of that. How about as far as, I know you guys have each mentioned the billet families, the host families. Take a few minutes, tell us who you live with and just how that's been like for you. And Jake, I'll start on your end again.
I live with Brad and Jenny Johnson and their 3 kids, Karis, Breck, and Marin. And they're 6, 4, and 1-year-olds, so it's kind of crazy. A lot of energy, but it's fun. Me and Marin have the same birthday, so it's a good time.
Bence, how about you, your host family?
I live with Angie and Reagan Storr and their 2 kids, Titus and Naomi. We're 4 and 2. So there's always something going on at the house, which makes it fun and exciting.
And then Grant, how about you?
I live with Jen and Jay Scheffner, and they have 3 kids, Dane, Gavin, and Cannon, who are 14, 11, and 6, and they're all pretty nice and fun to be around.
And Grant, I'll stick with you. Favorite host family meal, something you look forward to eating that gets made at home?
I like when he makes pasta. It's usually always pretty good.
Bence, how about you? A food that you really look forward to?
I would say the crock pot things they do are really good.
Crockpot night. Something that is there a specific crockpot dish?
Usually pot roast, basically. That's pretty good.
And Jake, how about you?
They make this buffalo chicken pasta. That's really good.
How about favorite snack or food overall, Jake? I'll stay on your end. Something you got to have, maybe pregame, or you got to get your hands on.
They have this like M&M yogurt that I like to eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bence, how about you?
I usually do Cliff Bars before the game. I like those.
And then Grant, what do you gravitate to?
Spaghetti and meatballs from Noodles and Company.
Very specific there. I like that. As far as community events, what do you guys like to do as far as getting out? I know the Rough Riders make an effort to try to have an impact in the community. Jake, something that you've liked that you've done?
My favorite thing is when we visited the kids and we just hung out with them and played with them at recess.
Bence, how about you?
Yeah, I think that's the most fun we do, the recess or reading to kids. That's always fun.
And then Grant, I'll also ask you the same thing.
Yeah, just like what they said, the recess and reading the kids is pretty good.
And Bence, you're kind of the world traveler up on stage right now. You've been to several different countries, kind of seen the world. What's something that's really struck out to you, something you've really had fun with, or something you really enjoyed in your world travels?
Well, it was always mostly for hockey, so I guess every minute of it was enjoyable. Coming here, especially the games, just the atmosphere of every game is amazing. The show before the game starts, I've never seen that anywhere else, and that's always a great feeling.
And I'll ask down the line here, and Jake, I'll start with you. Your favorite moment in the game of hockey, something you really remember, maybe even back from those Minnesota high school days.
Well, in Bloomington we have two high schools, Jefferson and Kennedy, and it's always a big rivalry. So I scored against them my junior year, and it was a packed house and good atmosphere.
Bence, how about you? Memory in hockey that comes to mind?
Just a chance to represent my country at the IHF Worlds. That was the biggest memory for me so far.
And then Grant, how about you? A memory in hockey that really stands out?
They have to be playing in the Minnesota State high school tournament. That was the best.
Now, Bence, I think you're the only one whose name popped up in relation to this site, but man, when you look on the internet, you see some crazy stuff you come up. There's a website called hockeyfights.com, and it runs down any player who's had a fight in hockey, and I think you have to be a paid member or something to get to see the video. Did you know that you're on that site? There's one game that says that you were in a fight.
I actually did not know about that.
Coach, you've been around the game a long time. Privy to this site, did you know this existed out there? It's floating around the internet?
I've heard about the site. When did you get in a fight, man?
I don't know. I had the one against Dubuque, and that's it.
If you look, I think it's on the second page of results. Sometimes I get deep into this research. And then, guys, I'll ask you to wrap up with, we're talking about the March Madness theme and everything. As far as hockey and goals looking on beyond the Rough Riders, what do you have? What are some of your goals in the game of hockey and beyond? Jake, I'll ask you.
Just play Division I hockey. It's been my dream since I was probably 5 or 6 years old.
Bence, how about you?
Yeah, same for me, to continue and play college hockey.
And then Grant, how about goals, future in the game of hockey?
Yeah, just like what these guys said, be able to play college hockey one day.
And then, as we wrap up here, final thoughts, a reminder, we'll draw as a part of that drawing here in just a few minutes, but we have upcoming games. We have a road trip at Fargo, at Sioux Falls. Before we talk about the actual game action, I'll ask you guys, your favorite thing that's ever happened on a road trip, something that's been really fun that's just happened on the bus or happened when you guys were kind of hanging out on the road. Jake, I'll start on your end.
Well, in Sioux Falls, we played bus tag, and the guy had to sing in front of the whole team. So
Who had to sing?
Max Johnson.
Was it good?
No, it was terrible.
Did you guys get to pick what he had to sing?
No, you got to pick. I think it was Katy Perry or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So something to keep in mind for our karaoke night, if you guys want to keep that in mind. Bence, how about you? Favorite road trip memory, something that's happened when you guys have been out on the road?
I think it's probably a common joke when people fall asleep, you kind of start to stack trash on them. And one time on a bus trip, we actually covered one of the guys on my team completely. That was pretty funny, I think.
Grant, how about you? Any trash stacking or random karaoke singing in the middle of a road trip? What have you kind of gravitated to? A fun moment on the bus or as part of a road trip?
I guess I can't really think of anything right now, but probably bus tag. We always do that after we eat at meals, and that's pretty fun.
Now, Coach, I know you probably try to stay out of the hijinks, but in all your years on the road, has there been something that you really thought was funny or some prank that you've seen that really stuck out in your mind over the years?
Oh, boy. Yeah, there's a lot. I don't, geez, I'd have to put some thought to it. One time the guy with the pizzas was late, and it's not really a prank, but the guy with the pizzas was late, so he was following us down the highway with the pizzas in the car and pulled the bus over.
Wow. Nothing is more important. Pizza is top priority.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
As we wrap up here, we have 2 games on the road this weekend at Fargo and then Saturday at Sioux Falls. I'll ask your guys' thoughts as we head into this weekend's action. Jake, I'll start on your end.
Well, it should be fun. I haven't played at Fargo's building, but coming back to Sioux Falls and playing against the former team should be a lot of fun.
And Bence, how about you? Looking forward to this weekend's action?
Yeah, for sure. These road trips are always good for the team, and we're going to go play 2 good teams and what I've heard, 2 incredible buildings, and I can't wait to find out.
Grant, how about your thoughts heading into this weekend?
Yeah, like they said, it should be a good weekend with a long road trip, and hopefully we can get a couple wins.
And before Coach's final thoughts, I got to ask, as I have Grant and Jake up on here, if you guys played into this Edina thing, have you guys grown up hating them as much as it seems like other guys from Minnesota do who don't go there? Jake?
Yeah, definitely. We played them every year, and I think probably playing them 25 times, I beat them once in my life. So, and in high school, we'd always play them to go to the state tourney, and they'd always kill us. So,
Grant, how about you? You have any experience with Edina?
Yeah, I guess in youth hockey, we've played them a few times, and they always beat us, and never really liked them.
I think that's the best way to leave the Edina. Just leave it at that. And Coach, I'll wrap up with you as always, your final thoughts as we head into this weekend. And if you have Edina thoughts you want to throw out there, you can always do that too.
No, I got to stay away from Edina because we're recruiting a kid from there right now.
Okay, yeah, you're going to be smart about that.
Just looking forward to playing again. I think we're getting better here all the time. I know I say that every week, but I truly believe that, and really hoping we can build on a lot of the positives from Saturday when we drop the puck in Fargo on Friday night.
I once again want to thank the guys, Jake, Bence, Grant, and Coach, for being with us here for another Lowdown on Ridertown. Thanks for making the time for us.
Thanks, Coop.
And thanks, everybody, for coming out. We're going to have our drawing here in just about a minute or so. A reminder that we do not have a show next week because the Rough Riders are in action. It's at home versus Omaha. 2 games this weekend on the road, as we mentioned a couple times, at Fargo, at Sioux Falls. Make sure you get on out next Wednesday night at the Stable for the game against Omaha. And we will see you back here on March 22nd for another Lowdown on Ridertown. Thanks for coming out, everybody. All right, we'll have our drawing right now.
Thanks, John.
Charlie Schwartz. Charlie?
Thanks, John.
Charlie, congrats. You're our winner. It's a 10-pack of tickets to the Bud Light Fan Cave or Bill's Brothers Balcony for next Wednesday's game, and the actual seating will be let known on Tuesday, March 14th, so we'll get in touch with you on that. A reminder that the audio from these are up, so all of our past broadcasts are up right now at krna.com, and also the KRNA YouTube page. We'll get this one posted up in the next couple of days, and we'll see you back here on the 22nd for another Lowdown on Ridertown. Thanks.